the issue of how do we represent the perpetrators. Generally speaking, in Israel, public is less busy with the question of perpetrators. The public discourse concentrates more on the issue of the victims. Easy to understand because for most Jews it's an issue of biography. Even if it was not your direct family. Maybe I'll give an example of a colleague of mine whose family is from Iraq. His wife is from Iraq, and he says that in the third generation of the family there's no difference in the treatment or the attitude towards the Holocaust between the grandchildren of his Iraqi family and the children from Ashkenazi families. So in Israel, the Holocaust became a biography even if it's not your biography. And naturally, the Jews are busy with what happened to the Jews as victims. The question of how do we deal with the perpetrators, I think it's generally quite placative. It's not so differentiated. One doesn't know too much about the different groups of perpetrators. Here and there through, I think, films and maybe because so much of the murder took place in the East, the term of the Travnikis, the term of the Ukrainians, that comes in here and there. I think the term police battalions, I think very few Israelis are aware of the involvement of German policemen in the acts of perpetration. When I once looked into how perpetrators are portrayed at the Yad Vashem Museum, this is 10 years back, interestingly, I found that they are only portrayed in uniform. The conference in which I presented this, we could see that it's similar in Germany at the time. The perpetrators are portrayed both in Israel and in Germany, speaking about 10 years ago, only in uniforms. And I think the motivation is similar. There is no wish to humanize the perpetrators. There is a real conscious wish to identify them in their role as perpetrators. There are interesting programs that show Reinhard Heydrich, for instance, with his children on the beach. These are programs that are not so prevalent, they're very rare. Here at the Ghetto Fighters House, we do use such programs, trying to ask the question of the human side of perpetration, being interested in how people could end up being perpetrators.